Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Tuesday, May the 17th, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by the one and only Miss Deb Lutz. Deb, how are you? I know that it was a tough, rough last game 7, but I'm here to say it's okay. The Suns are fine going forward. Don't be too sad.
I just want to say thank goodness that we didn't do our side bet and I didn't have to shave my eyebrows for this morning because that
Oh
my gosh. Wow. What a what a shocker. It just everything fell apart and fast. And now everyone's, was Paul hurt? Is the team going to be broken up for next year? Like everyone's like major overreaction. But it was, that's got to be one of the most colossal collapses at home. Game 7, favored to win the series, favored to win the game. Haven't seen anything like it in a while.
Well, I should have done the homework so I had a statement, on this, but I don't remember. And we talked a little bit before the podcast. And to show how old I am, I remember the very first playoff series I remember watch with my dad back in 72, 50 years ago. And it was Lou Alcindor with the Bucks, and it was a great series. And I remember watching that. I haven't missed throughout the years, and my son as well. And I was talking to him last night. We could not remember a Game 7 home team getting beat that bad in the history of the league. I don't know if it's ever happened.
No, and what was it? It's about like 78 or 80. What's the percentage that win Game 7 when you're at home? It's incredibly high to begin with.
Very high. Yeah, it's high.
And then to get, beaten like that. Right. I want to know the person who bet the, Dallas wins by 40 and it's like 20,000 to 1.
I don't even know if they would have booked that bet if it was out there. But as we talked about on the podcast, we knew it would be a great series. We both felt it could go 6 or 7, and it did. And I thought that the Mavs had a legitimate shot just because what we talked about, the Suns looked very discombobulated in Game 6. I used that specific word, and people were I got a few tweets that the Mavs would be discombobulated. So, but it just looked like the Mavs had a confidence. And it, like you said, the first couple of shots of Luka's went in, and it just seemed like the momentum just never ended. Yeah.
It's crazy. I have to really hats off to Jason Kidd. What to out coach of the year, and just a really well played, the way he managed the players, bringing, Dinwiddie having, like a career. I felt like I was watching, Game 7 of the Bucks series with Grant Williams. You had Dinwiddie just,
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Luka, I thought he'd step up and be the superstar, but Dinwiddie's performance was outlandish.
Yeah.
His heat check shots were going in. So
right, exactly.
But I'll tell you a couple of things as long as we're chatting here and we only have the single games now. By the way, thank you for joining us here at Coach Talk, everybody. we're previewing the very first game, Miami and Boston, and for the conference finals. And Deb and I are going to do all the games of this series. Crash and I are going to do the Western Conference series. We figured we would let each of you get out of your conference because you're both, Crash was very upset about his Bucks too. So I have to be honest with you, between the three of us, I did not expect to be the last man standing with the team. I did not see that coming. But anyway, I think there's a few things I want to mention. One, I had been yelling on this podcast for NBA the last 2 seasons about how bad Rick Carlisle was as a coach. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about the man. I don't disparage anybody, but I watched for multiple years Carlisle coach terribly. Players hated playing for him, and he did not coach well. So the Jason Kidd blowing up this year and doing so well does not shock me at all, because he was replacing a guy that had worn out his welcome. He stayed here 8 years too long because he won the championship in 2011. So I wanted to point that out. Yes, Kidd is doing a great job, but I'm telling you, a lot of it was addition by subtraction. And the thing that excites me the most about that as a Mavs fan is they couldn't get the big superstars. We always rumors, LeBron, Wade, all these guys through the years, nobody wanted to play for Carlisle. And now that you've got, Nico as a GM, a nice young GM that knows everybody, you've got a player coach in Jason Kidd. You watch and see, Dallas is a beautiful city to live in and no state taxes. And so who's not going to want to play with Luka to win some championships? Don't be surprised if you get a couple of big time stars coming to Dallas.
And you got Cuban opening up the money bags. So yeah, I would agree. And that's, if they get a, someone in the interior who can,
there's lots of rumors already. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and the last thing I want to say is, because I've mentioned it a billion times on these pods the last 2 years, and I'm not piling on. I'm not meaning this in a negative way, because I wish him absolutely well. But I've said all along, DeAndre Ayton is a fraud. I mean, I think he is the most overrated big man, and I think he's gutless. And if you watched him in that game 7, I mean, that dude almost peed his pants. He didn't want to be out there. It was so bad the second half. They used Biyombo and McGee.
I know. 17 minutes.
Did you see the one comment Monty made?
No, what was that?
He made a comment about Ayton that
it was an internal decision.
Internal decision, and they were going to look at situations. Do you think that there was not on purpose that they didn't offer him an extension? He's the only guy in that class that was drafted that didn't get the extension. I don't think they want him there. I've said from the beginning, and again, I'm not trying to pile on or, after the fact, or even whoever won the series. He just never dominated. We said it game 1 through 7. Dallas has no interior defense at all, and he should just shred them. And he just backs down. He's disinterested. I just don't think he has a heart of a champion. And not to be rough on him, but I think that was the big difference. That's why Phoenix lost the series. Yeah, Paul played bad. Paul and Booker shot bad in game 7. But if Ayton does what he was supposed to do, they win that series in 5 or 6 easy.
Yeah, I mean, clearly Ayton didn't show up in a way that he should have and could have. But to say, hey, it was an internal decision and they only played him 17 minutes, like, you know what? You're the coach, fire him up, Chris Paul, fire him up, like get him motivated, like let's get going, to change your game plan in game 7 and only play your third leading scorer, or your second leading scorer, frankly, right. 17 minutes. I don't know. And it sounds like he sounds like an easy scapegoat, because you're right. I mean, they clearly, they didn't sign him. That was a sign. They didn't want him. But in my mind, it all begins and ends with Chris Paul. You're a 17-year veteran. You want the ring more than anything. And you couldn't show up. You couldn't get, he didn't get, what did he have? One game where he had like 8 or 9 assists. Other than that,
he was terrible. Now, some of that you have to give to Dallas in the fact that they have the best perimeter defense in the league. So that's, a given. But you know what? Their design was this season, we're going to defend the hell out of the perimeter, take away the 3-point line, and we know we're going to get smashed in the paint, but we can overcome it. Phoenix didn't smash them in the paint.
They didn't figure it out. No.
Yeah. So it's crazy. It was a fun series.
Congrats, Coach. Congrats. It's I think they're going to give Golden State a hard time. And you got another team that's all about the perimeter. Golden State does not do a lot on the inside. There's not Looney's not a scorer. Green's not a scorer. No. So I think they have a real shot, shot.
As far as matchups, this is perfect for them. Golden State's all perimeter. They defend well in the perimeter, like you said. But, the intangible that we can't measure is those Golden State guys have a bunch of rings. Yeah. And they know what it takes at this part of the season to get there. Yeah. Dallas doesn't have any of that. So, I feel like we're a big underdog, but I do like the matchup. I think we have a puncher's chance. I really do.
Does anyone on Dallas have a ring?
Nope.
No one. Jason Kidd, though, right? Does Jason Kidd have a ring?
Yeah, but he as a coach. Yeah,
no, right. No, but that's at least kind of.
He has the 2011 ring with the Mavs, but none of the players have won it. So
now it's going to be. I you know what I see them winning. I see them winning. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to find for the podcast tomorrow. Now I've got, since the orange shirt was undefeated, 2-0.
Got it, right? You need that. You need that yellow shirt.
I'm going to find that ugly gold shirt. I've got to have one somewhere.
You must.
And see if we can put, we got to go for something.
Don't take it off. Don't take it off.
All right,
let's talk about the fun series in the East.
We are here to talk about that. I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Prizepicks.com. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Go to Prizepicks.com. Use the promo code CoachTalk on that first deposit. They will match you $1 for $1 all the way up to $100, 100 free bucks. Great to play with. You can use it everywhere. PGA Championships this week. You can play that like crazy. Baseball, there's a million games going on all day and night. And then, of course, these 2 conference finals. So prizepicks.com is a place to go. If you want to join us and get more information, more insight, we're posting ownership numbers in sports, talking through injuries, talking through weather in baseball, talking about basketball, coach speak, and beat writer info, matchups. All of that happens in our Discord. All you have to do to join is go to dfscoachtalk.com. You can sign up for even as little as a 3-day pass. If you want to just dip your toes in the water, you'll get all our baseball the next 3 days. You'll get these first 3 conference final games in the NBA, and you'll get all our lineups on Fanduel, Yahoo, and our core on DraftKings for the PGA Championship. All right, let's look at this game 1. Boston Celtics at the Miami Heat. Eastern Conference Finals. Miami only favored by 2. Usually you get, 2 or 3 for being home. So Vegas sees this as a pretty much pick 'em series from what I can tell. It's only a 204 total. We have 2 really strong defensive teams. How about the fact Boston, Miami, Dallas, and Golden State happen to be 4 of the top 6 defensive teams in the league? Yeah. Who says defense doesn't win championships?
That's right. Defense matters.
And Boston has a 101 implied, and Miami has a 103 implied. So what I will say is this. DraftKings offers the 2-day contest. If you want to play today and tomorrow together, you can do that. For the simplicity of it, we're going to break these games down just the 1 game each day. So if you want to build from what we say, use some of the other ones for the second day, that's cool. But, a lot of the sites is just that day, like FanDuel and Yahoo. So we go. Game 1 here. Let's talk about the weird injury scenarios here, because we're back to this Miami baloney. So we have Marcus Smart questionable for Boston. And so he was dinged up. So we have to follow that news. Hauser's out. That doesn't matter. But then we've got our run of suspectable, I don't know, what's the word I can use here? Suspicious.
Suspect, right?
Suspect, all of those things. But Caleb Martin, Max Strus, PJ Tucker, and Gabe Vincent all listed questionable. We all expect them all to play. And I don't think Kyle Lowry's going to come back. That's just my gut feeling. He's out for this game, but it's not looking too good. And when he did try to come back, it was a disaster.
Terrible.
If you remember. So we know what's what here. Let's begin the discussion with matchups.
Yep.
So, the key factor, obviously, with Boston, it's all about how do you stop Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Obviously, Al Horford had a great run there. But as far as how that's going to play out here, do you want to throw your 2 cents in?
What I'd love to see is Tucker taking Tatum and Butler taking Brown.
Now, that's what I have listed right now.
Is that what you have as well? Yeah, I think that's the only way that the one thing about Lowry being out for this, at least the first game. Possibly,
sorry about the dogs here.
That's okay.
In fact, I'm just going to let them out of the room here.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we have a double header out there, Mailman and Amazon Man. So they're seeing double the fury.
He's fired up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the one thing about Lowry, being out is you sort of have a situation where, in my mind, Miami's scoring is, a little bit dependent on fewer guys. Boston can spread it around. But of course, from a usage standpoint, it's all Tatum and Brown. And so I think you have to put your best defenders on Tatum and Brown, regardless of sort of the positioning. So that's where I would go. And then you can have, Adebayo can certainly guard Horford. It does leave Marcus Smart open, and he's been playing great. Now he is dinged up. So I think that's a key question. Do you feel like he's going to take it a little easy in game because it's game one, or, will he continue to bring it? And he's someone who can really, benefit.
It seems like Smart, if he's can't go at 100%, he sits. And so I would assume if he sits, we'll know that ahead of time. Obviously, it's one game. If he plays, I think he goes pretty hard. So that's one of those. My interesting thing is the Robert Williams situation. I mean, the dude was able to play, and they were going to use him, and they didn't. So how do you see that rolling out here? I
thought that was strange. And now they gave the indication there will be no restrictions on him.
I know.
So
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I don't know why they wouldn't have felt they didn't need him in the last series. I think they, could have used him. So, he's definitely an X factor. I mean, I think he plays great defense that could impact Bam. But it's also going to impact, if they bring him into the mix, it impacts Williams, it impacts Horford, it impacts Tice. So, I think he plays. I think he gets somewhere in that 25-minute range. And it will have an impact on everyone that I just said. So how about yourself? What do you think?
No, I agree. I think he'll be in the mix. And it's a concerning thing because with Horford, the two Williams, Robert and Grant, and Tice, I think Tice will be the loser on the minutes. So I don't think he's real playable, but I'm a little concerned on how that rotation is going to fly. I mean, Horford's playing fantastic ball, so he should be pretty safe, but it could be a pretty good split between Robert Williams and Grant Williams with a little sprinkling of Tice in there, which makes it not very palatable.
Yeah.
We're talking about showdown slates, and
exactly.
You can't take a punch in the gut and slide a guy in there that gets 12 minutes or you're in deep trouble. So, I'm going to probably stay away from the bigs for Boston for that reason.
Yeah.
But, we do need that Smart news because that is very important. Because if Smart's out, then, we know that White becomes somebody you got to talk about.
Exactly.
And if Smart plays, then it makes it a little bit more difficult. But I do, the big question will be with Brown and Tatum more than likely getting guarded by Butler and Tucker. Are you considering Brown or Tatum for a captain's kind of spot, or?
Game one. So, if you think about the two series, I think, going to game 7 against Milwaukee in the way that they did, Boston's got to be a little bit sort of, they had that sort of, exuberance. So, they got to be a little bit tired, a little bit maybe not as prepared for game 1 as Miami is. So I'm leaning towards a Miami player in that captain spot.
Okay.
I think Butler makes a real nice, a real nice captain in this series. I think he's going to, Butler is sort of, you see him, he's sort of unguardable in a way. I mean, he figures out how to get if it's not scoring, then it's through rebounds and assists and steals, or, so he, I like him.
He's an incredible foul drawer too.
Yeah, that's right.
He draws fouls like
tons
crazy.
of fouls. Exactly. Yeah. So I do like him a lot. I think that, it's going to be a really tough series. Like I said, with Lowry out, if Lowry's out the whole series, I think that makes it a little bit tough for Miami to overcome Boston. But in this game 1, I think Miami comes out strong, and Boston may be a little bit flat-footed given the last series.
I think it's very, very likely could happen. And it's why I'm surprised that Vegas only has Miami favored by 2. Yeah. I was predicting Miami favored by 4, which is a big difference. Yeah. But that is surprising. But, they played well, they played hard. So we'll see how they come in. So as far as pay up, it sounds like we're both on Butler.
Yeah. That's my number one option from a pricing. There's nothing in the pricing yet. on either of the sites to really make me say, ooh, he's too high. I got to stay away from him. In fact, Tatum is the highest priced guy. So yeah, I like Butler a lot. I mean, I may take a look at going down a little bit, throwing somebody like a Marcus Smart in that top spot to see if I can fit in an additional superstar. But
Right.
The way it's been playing out so far, I'm not sure that that's going to be the case. It may just be straight up.
Yeah, and really the two strategies that we use here at Coach Talk the majority of the time that have been successful for us in our playoff runs last year was either one of two things. You just eat it and like take a kind of Butler guy at the top and then find value to fill in the lineup, or you go with a super cheap guy that you think's going to outperform his number. Like a guy that jumped out to me was Tyler Hero, 5.5K. That's dirt cheap for him.
Yeah.
Somebody like that you can put in there. Are you going to get another game from Max Strus out of nowhere? He's 5.6, or Grant Williams like he had in Game 7, which is insane at 4.6. Now, you could take one of those guys, put him in that captain spot, and then you can really get two studs in there. Or, you have to go with the other strategies, of pay up for the guy and then find the value elsewhere. So there's really two different ways that we generally approach it here. And I think those are the two ways that I'm looking. I'm either probably going to go Butler, or if I went with the opposite approach, I think you can look at Hero. I think you can consider Strus. You could consider Vincent. You can consider Grant Williams, all risky.
Yeah.
If Marcus Smart sits, you can consider even a Derek White.
Yep.
But that would be the value side of it if you go that way.
I'd probably add in, again, maybe in a GPP, I'd add in Robert Williams, because he's someone who, if he really does play and he gets you some stocks, he could easily, hit 40 fantasy points and exceed his value. That's if he's really, playing at full strength. But so again, it's sort of a flyer. But I agree with you.
It is a GPP play.
Yeah, I agree with you in the mix of some of those folks. I like Hero a lot. I think that's an excellent point.
Well, I think he'll be highly owned because I think he's grossly underpriced. I mean, who would believe coming into this series, Hero would be cheaper than Max Strus?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how things have changed. And he's almost not that much more than Grant Williams, or Victor Oladipo's 5'3".
Yeah. How do you think Oladipo does in this series? I mean, I just don't know. I mean, obviously he'll be coming off the bench, but without Lowry, he is going to get minutes. Is this the type of team that he would do well against, or not so?
I think that he's a reasonable play. I mean, there's certainly risk with it because he may get shorted on the minutes, but he's certainly not, the moment isn't too big for him. I mean, he's going to show up, and when he's out on the floor, he's going to get it done. The whole question with him is, does he get enough of a run? Because if he does, I think at 5'3", I think he's a great play, because you at least know when he's on the floor, his usage number is decent. He doesn't stand around. Yeah. He's going to take shots. He's going to drive. I think he's a reasonable guy. I mean, it's all going to come down to, you can't play Butler and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Okay. So we know that. So something has to give there. Somebody's got to be out of the mix. Right. So who you fade amongst those three is going to be the key. For me, it sounds crazy, but I'm probably going to fade Tatum just because he's the most expensive. And I think PJ Tucker is such an irritant, and Butler may get a few shifts on him. Oladipo, people forget what a great defender he is. He could get a few shifts on him. I mean, it's going to be a tough road for Tatum. I think tougher in this series than it was the last. I think he may be the best player on the floor. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that, I think he can get to that. If you're 5X plus 10, that means you need Tatum to get 60 plus. I don't know anybody gets 60 plus against Miami.
Nope.
You know?
Giannis maybe would be the only one, but
Well, yeah. Or
yeah.
Luca.
Yeah, but I agree. I don't
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think because of that, I think we'll see ownership shifting towards Brown because again, he's always a couple of thousand less. And sometimes he can have even more usage than Tatum. So I think it'll be really interesting to see those matchups and how they play out. The question is with if it's really if it really is oh, excuse me, I'm blanking on Tucker on Tatum.
Right.
Do you think about Tucker in your mix? Because I mean, I know sometimes he just fades and all he is defense, and he gets you those 8 points. But he showed up big in a couple of playoff games against Philly. So
Well, he'll get some open corner threes, but again, it's the cool thing about this series is it's not like dead chalk. Like you just look at it. It's not like there's Luka and Curry or whatever like the other series. I mean, you can go so many different routes in this series, and there's so much risk. I mean, Smart's a risk now because of the injury. Grant Williams. Can Al Horford continue to play? I thought he just about gave Crash a heart attack the way Al Horford
exactly.
I don't know if he can continue that. We don't know if Derek White's going to play. Pritchard's getting a few minutes. That's risky. Does Tice or Robert Williams contribute? We don't know how much of an impact Gabe Vincent's going to have. PJ Tucker, Oladipo. Another guy I'm considering on top of all these other ones we're saying, for a real punt last guy in, Dwayne Dedman at 3.2.
Yep.
You can gets you a Butler and Brown or whatever.
He's 2K on DK.
Yeah, or on DraftKings.
He's on DraftKings, right?
3.2.
Oh, okay.
3.2. Yeah, 3K is the min on DraftKings.
Okay.
He's
on the single slates as well. Okay.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just looking at the breakdown here of the lineups. Let me flip to another screen. I'll go to DraftKings and take a look.
But what else? I mean, it's possible that Abayo gets into foul trouble too.
It's possible, and with 5 minutes left in the first quarter, he's going to come into the game. That's the rotation Spoelstra has set up. That's what you're going to get. And, if he gets a little extra run, he certainly can get a few stocks for you. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And, so there's a lot of different things that could happen with that. So let me see. Let's look at real quickly here on the pricing just to make sure we're not anybody off. So we've got, it doesn't. The 1,500 is, you're right. I was dead wrong. 1,500 is the min price on a showdown slate. So as we go up the chart here, we've got the cheapest guys are Pritchard at 5,400. Dedman is 3,000. So, that's
at the captain spot, right?
Oh, that's right. You're right, man.
I think he's 2,000 on.
You're right. He's Daniel Tice is 1,800. He's 2,000. Let's see who the other. These are just in the regular, not captain spot. Pritchard is 3,600. I wonder if anybody's going to click on J Smart and think they picked Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart.
And then you got cheap guys. Gabe Vincent only 42. Robert Williams only 48. Grant Williams only 5.
Yeah.
Those guys could all get minutes.
Absolutely.
PJ 54. Oladipo is a little overpriced at 62. 66 for Hero. So, yeah, my pricing I initially was looking at here on the breakout was incorrect. So it does change things. Tatum at 12K, that's a lot. Butler at 10.8, that 1,200 means a lot. Jaylen Brown 9.2, so you're almost saving 3K if you go from Tatum to Brown.
Yeah.
Bam at 84, Horford at 8,000, but they deserve it. So it's going to be a really interesting mixture. Again, I don't think there's any slam dunk guys that you can just forget about it and pop in there. So lots of different builds. I'll tell you what's going to be key, and you'll want to be with us in our Discord, is finding out what the leverage plays are. Let's look at the ownership, see where it's going. I don't even know who's going to be the highest owned on this slate. That's how
it's very even. Yeah. It's going to be good.
I mean, Tatum and Butler, everybody's going to want one of those two.
Right.
So, they're going to be all over the place. But after that, maybe Jaylen Brown, but Bam's been in and out, and everybody else we mentioned there's no slam dunks.
No.
So
very interesting. That's good. From that standpoint, it makes it, we could do a takedown because you don't have a lot of aligned ownership. So
true.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. Well, good. Hopefully that gives everybody a feel. I know it was a little more of a talk through. I mean, game one is a tough, it's tough. You got to see what the coaches are going to do, what the rotations are going to look like, and go from there. Let's dive over to Prize Picks.
All right, let's do it.
Are you logged in there yet?
I am. I got a couple. Yeah. So my first one I'm going with, we did talk about it a little bit in the Miami defense. I'm going with Jason Tatum under 28.5 points.
Oh, wow. How about that? Guess what? I've got good news for you. I'm going Jason Tatum under 27.5 points.
Hey, now you got.
I want your 28.5.
Yeah, exactly. I hope I still have that. Did it change? It changed, huh?
It just changed a point, and I'm not happy about it because I don't have a play in, but that was my pick as well. But obviously we're not alone because it's dropped a point.
Exactly.
So that's a bummer. But I agree with you. So that's bizarre that we have the same thing. I just, we talked about it before. The other thing, and I'm not trying to say Jason Tatum isn't awesome, and for Celtics fans, I'm not dogging him at all. I love him, but I'm also under his PRA 39.5. I just don't know. PRA when you get over 40, you're really smoking somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't know if Miami can be smoked that bad.
Yeah, I agree.
So you can't play them together, but that
can't play them together.
Looks at it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So what is your other one?
So my other one, I like this one. I'm going Jimmy Butler over 2 blocks and steals.
Okay.
There's a good chance that he hits 2, in which case, but I'm seeing that Boston may not be they're going to be a little turnover prone, and I see Butler getting on some of those steals.
Yeah, that's very doable. He may do that the first half, so I like that play. I'm going back to my buddy Dwayne Dedman. It's only a half a block or steal. I really do think he gets a solid 17, 18 minutes, and 1 block or 1 steal. He's very, very active defensively when he's in there. He goes for blocks because he's not afraid of foul trouble or anything because he knows he's got limited minutes. So, it's fun when you take those 0.5s and you just follow your eyeballs follow him around until he gets his one, and hopefully he does. But
that's a sneaky one. I like that one.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that even if they don't do well, like I'll never forget earlier in the year I took Vukovic in the same spot over a half a block and steal. He got it with 1.5 minutes left in the game.
Oh,
so it was torturesome. And no, it was actually 1.5. I take that back. But he had one right at the first of the game, and it took him all the way to the end. But
wow,
with only a half, hopefully he can get it in that time frame. So, all right.
Awesome.
I guess that's it. Is that everything?
I think so.
Yeah, we wrapped up that other series and preview of this one. And I'll tell you right off the schneid, I'm going to go a little lighter than I normally do. I am excited that it's the conference finals. But this one is tough. We've got some injury designations, specifically smart, but we have some Miami ones we just have to make sure of. We don't know what the matchups are going to be for sure. Boston's going to be a little tired. I think the coach is smart enough to know not to, blow his guys out the first game. So I just think there's a lot of intangibles that make it a little bit tougher of a call. and I want to see, what the coaches are going to do here. So I'll probably go a little lighter, but still, Deb and I will both have all our picks. We'll be posting our DraftKings core fives and Fanduel and Yahoo lineups. So definitely, if you want to check us out, it's dfscoachtalk.com. Also, if you're following us on Twitter, we are at DFS Coach Talk. And let's see, you are at
Deb Lutz 33.
Deb Lutz 33. I don't know why I can't. It took me like 6 months to get crashes right. And I'm at Joe Sarvati. So check us out on Twitter. If you're watching this on YouTube, please give us that thumbs up. That means a ton to us. Give us a subscribe button and hit the alarm in the corner. That lets you know when any of our podcasts post. Our baseball pod's up already for the day. This one, basketball one you're watching now, has been posted. And then we have a PGA one coming up this afternoon for the PGA Championship. So that is it, Deb. I've enjoyed it. We'll be together every other day as this Boston and series with Miami rolls out. So it should be a lot of fun.
It should be a fun one.
Yeah. What's your pick for the series?
I think Boston in 6.
Okay. I'm going to say Miami in 6.
Okay.
So there we go. We'll see how that
won the
rolls.
last one. We'll see if we can even it out.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Thank you,
Awesome.
Deb. Great as awesome and awesome as usual. So have a great day, everybody. Enjoy it. And we'll certainly be back again tomorrow when we look to crush it in NBA, DFS, and Prize Picks.